So, yeah, we got good news. Maybe it's bad news. I don't know. Spring is here a little earlier than what we wanted to see, but nevertheless, it's here, and there's not a whole lot we can do about it. I did get a letter, which was interesting, from a Florida grower that sent to all their customers. This is a large nursery down there, and just stressing the fact that spring is early. So, yeah, it's they're feeling it all over the country. It's just not in our region. Just about everywhere. Even Florida is ahead. Obviously, they're ahead of us, but they're ahead of their own schedule. So they're seeing warmer temperatures than what they normally see. So it's just a phenomenon that's happening all over the country. So with that said, we have some positive events, and this is one of the first one. This is Franklin's Gem. I don't know if you can enlarge that photo or not, but usually we don't see this kind of activity for another couple weeks, but you can see all that new growth in there. And that's fantastic. So that's starting to fill that plant out. Usually this time of year, Franklin's Gem, you know, is a lighter green. Still looks like it's, you know, kind of got a winter color, but man, right now they're popping. They're looking great. So Cheryl was able to get 500 of these rolled in so we can keep moving these Franklin's Gem. But nice package, nice fresh new growth coming in from the interiors, which really fills it out. And I would expect to continue to see that continue to grow. So this is going to be a real nice plant to start talking about and get some more of these sold and landed out there. So we were out of these for a little bit, but Cheryl just noticed these. We don't typically see this. So, hopefully you can take advantage of that. Next, there we go. We got grass Hamlin. So this is the next crop. We got excellent roots down in there. The grass is coming on hard. So we went ahead and put these on inventory. We moved 500. We still have more that will continue to move. But, you know, you can see in there, there's a couple that are a little smaller, but these things are growing by the day. So I would expect here by next week, we could probably just go ahead and roll the rest of the crop. But we just want to be a little careful. You know, we got some nice plants in there. We'll pull, they continue to push. I was looking at our 3-gallon Hamlins. Are those sold, Sarah?
No, there's still a few of them.
Still a bit, but they look fantastic. The growers did some different things. I know we've had a little bit of yellowing in the past on those Hamlins, so we totally changed our game. The big thing we found with that is once it becomes active, you got to go. So they need to be kept warm and they need lots of light. So a lot of times we'd have them under white poly. We wouldn't necessarily keep them warmer. And then they would start to shut down, get a little yellow, and then it'd take time for them to get growing again. So with what the growers did, they just, once they became active, they poured it on and we got real nice dark green growth. They used a different type of fertilizer that has a better release curve. So that really helped. So excellent crop of 3s, real nice crop of 19s here coming on that will continue to grow. So you got a couple choices there on the Hamlins. And if somebody brings that up, I know we had problems in the past, but we got that corrected. They look great. So sell with confidence. All right, drops of gold. We were able to bring some of these in to beef these up a little bit. They seem to be getting popular out there. We're able to find some availability on the market. They're not huge numbers, you can see there, but great looking plants, great size. You know, you got a 2 and a 3. You got some availability there. This is definitely, you know, something we brought in to move right away. So, this was from requests that we were hearing from you guys. So, we'd like to see these move before we get too far into May. So hopefully you can get them booked up and shipped out. And we're evaluating the whole Granada series. We're going to start getting back into that game. We tried this once before and didn't get very far, but it seems like the popularity is inching up there. So we're going to be bringing on a few more varieties instead of the sky pencil and the patio. We'll be bringing on a couple of others and slowly, but we'll test the waters and see if this thing is really gaining popularity. So next, Juniper columnaris. We don't have a lot of these. We got like 100, but if you could make that picture bigger. Yeah, they look great. There's 100 available. I know there's a lot of them booked as well. That's what you're getting there. You know, it's up there at that 5-foot range almost with the tip, but you know, we call it a 48. I can't really count that tip, but you know, good heavy 48-inch plant, great for wholesalers, or it could go to a garden center to give them something pyramidal big that's easy to handle. So the cool thing about this, you're getting that height that they want with a container that you can handle better. So and Hetz columnaris are pretty tough. You got to be a little careful with wet feet. You probably don't want it in an area. You could put an arb in a little bit wetter conditions than you can a Hetz columnaris. And they also like air movement. So, you know, if you got a yard that's tight or you got a big shade tree by them or something like that, it's probably not going to perform real well. So this thing likes full sun, likes to be out in the open, air movement, great for a screening or a big tall hedge or things like that. So excellent plant for that. All right, next, this is another thing. So scroll to the top. So we were looking at these. These are our lilacs, and these are today photos. Tom and I looked at it. Technically, we weren't down till sometime around the 19th, but the way they're pushing, we decided to go ahead and release them. So to kind of bring everybody up to speed why we do this, there are some critical sprays that have to happen, which we find that most of our customers don't do that. They also have to be protected from frost and from freeze. So we can do that here. We've gotten our 3 sprays on that we needed to get on, plus they've been on constant copper through the water. That's all to combat a disease called Pseudomonas. Every lilac is born with it, and it is a disease of opportunity. It will rarely kill the plant. Matter of fact, I've never seen Pseudomonas kill a plant, but what it'll do is if you get a freezing temperature or a frost as that plant becomes active, it does the thing where it attacks the cells and it causes a misreplication. So the cells start to replicate in the wrong way. So what that does is it makes a defect in the leaf or a twist in the leaf, and then it makes it unsightly. If you really look at lilacs out in the landscape, if you really look close in the spring, you will see every lilac has this. But as they get bigger, it's less noticeable. Where it really gets noticeable is at the retail side. When it's in a 3-gallon pot, it's real easy to see it. So that's why we go through these extra protections. We hold them because the customer, we realize the customer just probably doesn't have the resources to deal with that, and we want them to be really successful. With the amount of growth we have, and our sprays are timed with the growth, so obviously we've had to spray earlier than normal, we feel we're ready to go. So you do need to still protect these from frost. So as you release these, hopefully you can pass that along. Do not put it in a greenhouse. Do not heat them. You just have to protect them from frost. So some type of structure that's open. You do have to protect them from a freeze too, but you don't want to put them in a heat environment. It's just going to blow the blooms out, and that's not what you want either. So you just got to watch the frost. So if you scroll down, so these are different varieties here. You can look at this at your leisure. Go all the way down to, this is Centera, is that Peru? Yeah. So enlarge that Peru, please. Yeah. Hopefully you can.
Yeah, great. Lots of buds.
Yeah, you can see there we're starting to form buds. Peru is going to be the first one that's going to show buds, but it's going to take a long time for it to open. The other ones, you got to look really close, and the leaves are kind of hiding the flower stalk, basically. but they'll start to present sometime next week. So it's go time. We got 2 weeks to ship this thing before it really starts to open. So we wanted to go ahead and go. Hopefully we can get a lot of these out in the next couple weeks, and then they'll actually start to open up sometime the week of the 26th if the temperatures hold. Most of them will still have some kind of flower for Mother's Day, but in some of the past years, they've been done blooming after Mother's Day. I'm going to say Mother's Day they're going to be wrapping up by Mother's Day. But now's the time to ship them, obviously, before those flowers push anymore. Like I say, they should hold pretty good for a couple weeks here. So we wanted to, really our intention is to put them on trucks Monday, but if you want, you can start putting them on trucks tomorrow. That's fine. Or in the poll tomorrow. That's okay. We'll pull them tomorrow and then they'll go on trucks on Monday. So that's a long story on lilacs, why we do it. They're all sold. Unfortunately, I just don't have any more. So, there's not much you can do for sales opportunity on them, but a lot of them to ship. Hopefully that makes it so you guys have an easier time of building loads. Sure. So to give you an idea how the lilacs will roll through, the Centera series is really the first one you see some color, but it takes a long time for that flower pearl to open, but it will have color on the outside of the pearl. Then we move into the vulgaris, which is just straight vulgaris, just the common lilacs. We also have a white, the alba, that will also be blooming at that time. And then the hyacinthifolias come in last. So the hyacinthifolias are Declaration, Pocahontas, Purple Glory. Do we have a purpurea? Double blue. So the hyacinthifolias will be the last ones. The hyacinthifolias are the big bloomers. They get huge flowers, especially Declaration. Declaration's going to get, sometimes over a foot long flower. So those things are just fantastic. So that's how it goes down. They're within, maybe this is over like a 2 or 3 week period of how they start to show color, but that's how it'll roll. All of these lilacs are single bloomers. So we have no lilac right now that's a repeat bloomer. So it's all spring bloomers. So now's the time to go, and that's where we are. Okay, enough on lilacs. If you have any other questions, you can get a hold of me. Potentilla Goldfinger. So we're looking here. You can see here we're starting to get some good foliage pushing out on them. They're looking good. They'll continue to fill. I don't know, Cheryl, what do you think about 3-4 weeks away from a flower?
Yeah.
Probably first week of May, we'll start seeing some yellow flowers. But we're a little ways away from that. But this is typical of what we ship at this time of year. We do enhance these a little bit just to kind of push them along. The great thing with this year is we haven't had to use the heaters hardly at all. So Mother Nature has been doing the enhancing. But got a couple hundred coming on availability, and then there'll be some more after that. So as they keep pushing out a little bit, we'll keep putting them on. Prunus Zuzu. This is kind of an odd duck. So it is a real compact cherry. It does not particularly, it's fairly sterile. I would probably call it sterile. It's not really going to get any kind of cherry or usable berry for birds or anything like that. But it gets these, this like double flower you can see there in the photo. The photo in the middle is today photo, what they look like. It's a bit of a sticky plant. These type of prunus are never really tight and uniform. They're kind of a more open grower. We do a lot of trimming, but they're still kind of an open grower. But we do have availability on it. It's best to get them out now. Hopefully you can get some of these sold, show these photos. This is a plant that looks its best in early May. And it's okay for the rest of the year, but there's really nothing else that happens with it. It's kind of a one-shot wonder. Like I said, it's kind of fits that little odd area, but you got some availability there. It's something unusual. You know your people that like that kind of stuff. So, but why it's blooming, it will attract some birds, but um, it really isn't a butterfly one because by the time butterflies are out, this thing's done blooming. But it does repeat a little bit, which is not typical. I wouldn't sell that as a strong point. It's very sporadic, but we have noticed it will repeat bloom. So kind of a different plant there, got some availability.
Coated in buds. I mean, covered.
Yeah, okay,
It's
so
just covered
yeah,
buds.
Cheryl's saying just lots and lots of buds. So this thing's going to be a blaze of pink there. So, and then last but not least, Salix, my least favorite plant in the world, but everybody loves it. So I guess that's how it goes. We were able to bring some more in. We got 450. These are true available. Okay, just got them in. I had to do a little bit of trickery to get them here. So they're here. They're really big. They were trimmed back by the grower, and you can see there they're starting to push out. We'll be getting that. We're still a couple weeks away from really that leaf presenting those pink swirls in the leaf. You need a lot of sunlight for that to start to happen. So they tend to kind of break dark green to light green, and then those pink swirls start to come in as we get more sunlight. But hot plant right now, fast grower, extremely fast. We have actually thrown these away in the past, but it is really gained in popularity over the last couple of years. We are upping our production numbers. It's not particularly that hard to grow. It's just one of those things that we kind of ramp up and then sales kind of drops on it and then we throw it away and then we don't have them. And it's this cycle thing with this thing. But the way it seems, I don't see any availability out there really. I know some of our Synergy partners, they're growing some incredible numbers. I know that Pride's Corners was growing about what we were growing, a couple thousand. Now they're up to 12,000. So they ramped up their production like crazy last year. So East Coast is sucking up a huge amount, and all they have are totally booked. So we'll see how this goes, but that would be a good one to lead in a conversation. I think people are still looking for that. All right, so digging route of business on Amelank here, Topcraft Lilacs. Looks like we got all the orders. They're all out of the ground. Believe it or not, the Amelank here are starting to show the white pearl for the flower. So that thing is like exploding. So time to dig is come and gone there. But I know some of you still have to get them shipped, but they're still above the ground. We just got to keep pushing that, getting them out. Obviously, the more growth they push, this just isn't for Amelank here. This is all the shade tree stuff like that. The harder it is to ship it in good shape. You can imagine that real soft, tender new growth. And then you put it on a flatbed, you put a tarp on it, drive it on the road for a couple of days, get it off. It doesn't look as fresh as what it will if you ship it now. So try to get them out now. Don't wait because deciduous really ships hard. This year, deciduous is going to ship hard at the end of the month because it's all going to be growing. So shade trees, all that, it's all going to be popped. We can still dig kusas, but only for a couple more days. So hurry up and know we got availability. If you need some kusas, get that order in right away. We'll try to pop them out early next week, and then I think we're going to be out of business with kusa dogwoods. Conifers, we probably got 2 more weeks. man, I don't know. I don't know if we're gonna be able to be digging the week of the 26th or not. So we put some extra horsepower on the digging crews. We're really pushing hard. I think, like I've been talking about, this dig window's gonna come to an end. It's just gonna come to a screeching halt if these temperatures remain the same. So that's where we are with digging, but we still have orders to dig. We're still out there digging. It's just we got to make sure that we're staying ahead on all this deciduous. We we have different protocols we go through depending on weather. Right now, let's call it what is it? Is it DEFCON 5 when things are really bad? DEFCON 1 when it's good? I can't remember, but let's say we're really bad. So it's very dry out there. The conditions are on the extreme side. We keep seeing chances of rain and then we don't get any rain. And we're way behind on rainfall. So right now, what the guys have is they have less than 24 hours from dig. So they dig it and they got to get it to the holding area. We run it through a water rack, we put it down, and we have heavy sets of water. So this material and the way it's becoming active right now, we have high impact heads. These aren't like little yard sprinkler heads that a lot of our customers use or drip lines. These are high impact heads. We're putting on upwards of 1.5 inches of water every day. Every day. That's what that's requiring to keep up with that. A lot of this material, we have to pop it open right now. So we started doing that on Monday, Tuesday. So we bring it in, we cut it open and we space it because we can't leave it tied up. Yeah, I know that this flatbed thing is a disaster. We will make the room to keep digging and keep storing the material. We're not going to stop digging because of a trucking issue right now. At least that's what we have decided. Yeah, I know it's everywhere. It started with trying to get trucks to the East Coast. Now it's everywhere. So you can't
Yeah, I
find a
want to be able
flatbed.
to confidently tell my customers because I have a truck that keeps getting bumped and bumped and
Yeah,
bumped.
the weather will not let us slow down, so we just have to dig. If we're confident the customer is going to take it, okay, don't cancel the order. We just got to keep working to find the trucks. We can get them. It's just taking a lot longer to get them. So we can't slow down on digging. We can't say, well, let's stop for a couple of days and let things work out. We have too many balls to process to do that in order to finish before Mother Nature shuts us down. So we are taking care of it. We do have a holding area. I have a secondary holding area, which we may have to start pressing into. It's not great. We're losing money. Every day that goes by where we can't get that truck, we're losing money on these loads. But what do you do? I mean, you do the best you can. So that's where we are. I know it's not the customer's fault, but we also have to impress on the customer too. They're going to have to pay a lot more in freight than what they ever have before, because these truck drivers, they can get way more money and just put 2 coils of steel on their truck instead of a whole bunch of B&B on their trailer. So that's what we're competing with right now.